Hello, fellas and ladies. Cannes is done. It's over. Fall festivals are coming soon. Do some fucking predictions. I'm doing this so fly by the seat of my pants. I did not plan on doing one today. I knew I was going to start a series of predictions soon. I didn't think it was going to be today. I do want to get all my predictions out before the Odyssey and before Fall Fests start announcing their lineups. Maybe I'll have two series of predictions from now till before the Fall Festivals begin. This one is just going to be for Best Picture, though, but my next prediction video is not going to be acting, although that's going to be after that. But after this is going to be a Fall Fest prediction video where I guess all the Fall Fest movies, like they're going to go to each fest like I did last year. Again, I decided to do this last minute. Plans fell through. But a lot has changed. You know, we got some new titles. One very big elephant in the room. Cannes came and went. We have a lot more info about some of our international friends. So let's have fun. Our last, like, I guess pre-Odyssey predictions. Let's see what we can do. Because I do have a new number one, and he goes on the name of Dune. Yeah, I have Dune Part 3 at number one. Is that wise? No, maybe not. It's a little bold. But you know what? Last year, I was basically gaslit by all y'all to not put One Battle After Another number one, even though I knew in my gut that was correct. So this year, you guys mean nothing to me. I had a little bit of espresso after I worked and before I went to the driving range. I don't know where the energy is coming from. I'm just excited to talk about Oscars. Oh, but it's June. You shouldn't be talking about Oscars. Shut up! This isn't for you. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, Dune. Dune 3. Okay, look, I know how Dune Part 2 performed. I'm not even going to consider the performances of other sequels, i.e. Wicked for Good, which is dog shit, and fucking Avatar, which was like always its own little like set of issues. I'm not going to consider those. Like, those are irrelevant to me. Dune 3, look, if you think it's not going to live up to Part 2, fine. But if you think it's going to live up to Part 2, then you got to put it in picture. I don't know what happened with Part 2. I don't know why that happened. But it got Best Picture. So, like, I don't know, to say, like, they're just slowly pushing it out of picture makes no sense to me. But, like, you know, why do I have it number one? That seems a little risky since Part 2 did so poorly. I got some reasons. For one, it's coming out, like, right at the heel end of the year. December. Coming out the same day as Avengers Doomsday. If Dune makes Avengers look like a bitch, which, to be fair, it kind of already has, then, like, I don't know. I think Dune is going to be seen as like the savior of fucking cinema, the one that destroyed Marvel. Am I going a little far off of something that maybe just isn't going to happen? Maybe. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of admiration for Denis Villeneuve after this movie comes out. If, you know, the fact that it's willing to go toe-to-toe with a Marvel movie, an Avengers movie, and it's like making them piss themselves a little bit. I think that's something that the industry's going to pay attention to. And it's being touted as like the big epic finale of Denis' like trilogy. I think that there's just too much for this movie to like miss. And I know it's probably not going to get acting again. Hell, Denis Villeneuve, maybe he could miss for a third fucking time for some reason. But I just get the vibe that this is the one. I'm not doing a Lord of the Rings thing. I don't think it's that. But I feel like nothing really clicks to me as a winner. Except kind of this. This is the only one that really makes sense. Maybe I'm just biased because it's my most anticipated movie of the year. That's where my head's at with Dune. Either way, I think a nomination, like, I don't really have much reason to say it won't get nominated. I know I'm not going to go, oh, but Wicked. Like, fucking Wicked was always a fad. Dune is, like, legit. Dune is what John M. Chu thought he was doing with Wicked. The next three are, like, I would say the obvious ones. Like, the ones that are like, of course they're going to happen. Like, there's nothing really stopping them. One of them is The Odyssey. I think The Odyssey in particular, too much has to go really, really wrong for this to miss Best Picture. I don't think he's going to win Best Picture. I don't think Nolan's going to win Director. But it's also like, I don't know. Like, I don't think Nolan is that guy where, like, he makes a movie, he gets picture, end of story. I don't think he's actually that guy. I mean, for good reason. He's been nominated for picture 3 times. But, like, this is so, like, an event film. Like, it's being, like, you know, it's fucking, like, it's crashing, like, movie theater websites when tickets go on sale, like, and it's not a Marvel movie. And it's like a big, epic sword and sandal movie. It's Homer's Odyssey. I don't know. This is something that, again, it has to really go wrong for it to not be in the top 5, and even then, like, it has to go, like, catastrophic for it to not make the top 10. Like, because, like, even if it did go south, like, I don't know, like, if you were to remove it from a picture, what text would you like feasibly remove from. You can remove him from acting, no problem. I don't even really think it's an acting movie, to be completely honest. But like, what is to like be the collateral damage? Like, I guess, I don't know, like sound. I don't know. It would still get costumes. It would still get makeup. It would still get cinematography. It would probably still get visual effects. Score by Ludwig Göransson. He made a score. He's got to get nominated. Okay, well, unless you're Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, like there's just too much to like mine from the Odyssey for me to like very confidently say it's at actual risk of missing. Same kind of goes for Wild Horse 9. I think Martin McDonagh just makes buzzy ass movies. This movie looks like so good. I love this trailer so much, and like again, I think a lot has to go sideways for this to not get like 9 nominations. There's 5 acting contenders. Count them, 5 contenders in acting. I don't think he's gonna get all 5, but there's a lot. Is my point. Directing, writing. There's some text. It looks like this movie looks a lot more like, I don't know, stylistic than his other movies. I don't really see a directorial eye like that distinct from Banshees and Three Billboards, but I more mean it has a lot more of a period thing going on, at least from like the trailer. I could be off. It looks funny, it looks exciting. Like Martin McDonagh, like I'm not saying he's an Oscar darling at this point, but he does make movies that are exciting. And then there's Digger, which I think is such an obvious double-digit contender of a movie. There is a path for this to be like just too divisive. It just can't get in. Like just not enough people are really fucking with it. But like again, how is Cruise losing this Oscar? That alone tells me to just fucking keep it in picture. How on earth is Cruise not going to win? I don't know how. So I'm gonna just stay the course with Digger. It's got text, it's got acting, it's got like Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. This is not Bardo. At worst, it's Don't Look Up. At worst, it's that movie with a Tom Cruise victory. Like, I can see it being divisive, but this is still a big, like, Warner Brothers produced, like, 9-digit production with Tom Cruise. I don't really have much, like, reason to deny Digger. Like, maybe it's going to be divisive. I can't imagine it'll be divisive enough. I think the big development out of Cannes, I think we were kind of, like, fiddling with some stuff out of Cannes, but I think we've all settled that the Black Ball is the one. Like Dune, like honestly, like Digger, this is another double-digit possible contender. Now, I know people were like very quick to say, oh, Penelope Cruz, and I believe in her. I do buy her, but I want to hold off on calling her like a lock. But I do think that even if the movie gets no acting, like The Odyssey, like Dune, this could be a top fiver. And even a possible win contender? Who knows? Like, I don't know who these directors are, the Javiers or whatever the fuck. But, like, you got this big, epic, queer, war, time-spanning, like, century-spanning movie. It seems really interesting to me. Netflix picked it up, and Cannes just really seemed to vibe with this movie. And it seems like something that's gonna maybe even win the TIFF International People's Choice Award. I am convinced about the Black Ball. I would be surprised to see it fall off. And who knows, maybe Cannes is just noise, but they don't tend to be. Project Hail Mary, I still have pretty immense confidence in. I don't really see the path for it to go south. I think Ryan Gosling is safe. I think there's a lot of text that are just either is going to just win or just easily get nominated at landslide. I do stand by that the Lord and Miller in director is a bit of a stretch. It's just not the kind of movie that gets director. Like, I know people are going to say, oh, but DGA. I'm going to say the DGA doesn't go for them either. I'm not feeling any real reason to not say Project Hail Mary. It's been a little overshadowed by a movie I'm going to talk about in a minute, but it's such a big box office success for a non-like sequel or Marvel, and it's got like everything the Academy would want in a movie. It's got some hope core, it's got the tact, it's got like this big scope of a movie. It's for everybody. It's a big crowd pleaser of a film. I just don't think it's going to be like a top fiver. Like, I don't think like BAFTA will go for it outside of Tex and Ryan Gosling. I do think Gosling is pretty secure still. At number 7, though, I'm going with Behemoth. Look, tests are nasty. They're misleading as hell. But I am a huge believer of this film from day one, and I think recently I finally got the confidence to just push it in. Behemoth is the Tony Gilroy movie, who is hot, and I mean hot, off of Andor, which was an excellent, excellent show. It's universally agreed to be an excellent, excellent show. And I think what was holding me back was, I think the supporting cast made me believe this was like a bit of like a, I don't know, like a almost a sappy comedy drama, almost akin to like a Rental Family. And not that I thought it was gonna be similar, but I think that was the vibe in my head, and I was just kind of hesitant. But I'm now hearing it's more of like a drama character study, and like almost in the vein of Tar, and that is super compelling to me. And I wonder what text it can gather, because you got Pedro Pascal, who is just in perfect prime position to be an Oscar nominee. Screenplay, you can put Gilroy in director. And then text, scored, composed by like a bunch of motherfuckers. Like, that's something. So I'm in on Behemoth. I think this is going to be a big Fell Festival darling. Maybe not like, actually no, maybe it is like the darling of the festival season. Who knows? All right, let's do it. Let's talk about Obsession. My baby boy. My beautiful, beautiful baby boy Obsession. I did review this movie. I didn't miss out. I was first. I reviewed this movie back in September for TIFF because I loved it so much. And now everyone's copying me. And Obsession, my God, I thought this could be something. I thought this could be bigger than like it initially sought out to be, I guess. Holy fucking shit. It's a phenomenon. It's a sensation. And when you do what Obsession's doing, I mean, not that any movie has done this before, but when you do this, conversation has to start. And frankly, I don't know how the hell this movie is gonna, like, fall off. Like, when is Obsession gonna stop being Obsession? And I think the Academy is gonna have to listen. And I'm gonna hear all, like, the retorts of, like, oh, but no, it can't happen because whatever the fucking shit. Oh, it's nothing like Sinners, it's nothing like Get Out, because it has, like, there's a substance, there's no social commentary. I don't know, man, like, I get it, but, like, you think as the Academy is embracing horror more and more and more, with, like, Nosferatu as well in the text, and Amy Madigan winning, that, like, it's just going to exclusively limit itself to these social satires? Obsession has enough of, like, a character-driven arc going to it, like a dark character story, a dark psychological story that, like, I feel like that's move passable. Like, there's definitely social elements in this movie, and while it's not, like, grand as, like, a Get Out or a Substance, it's definitely there enough to like, match with how massive this movie is. My thing is, every time, like, the needle gets moved for, like, these big, like genre movies in picture, like, there's always an asterisk, even outside of picture. Like, oh, Amy Madigan, like, I've been already heard, like, oh, Indy Navarrete, who is clearly, like, the thing for this movie, like, that's gonna keep this movie's foot in the door, is how much everyone's gonna go for Indy Navarrete, even to the point where she might win. But people are saying, like, no, Indy Navarrete, she's nothing like Amy Madigan. Amy Madigan only won because she was overdue. Give me a fucking break. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, no, she only won because she's overdue. Remind me, who else won that year? What, 2 people in their 30s and then Sean Penn for the 3rd time? Yeah, no, Madigan only overdue. But, like, it's always been that way. It's always that way. Get Out can never happen. Oh, Get Out happens. It's because of the social commentary. And then when the Substance is up, it's like, no, Substance can never happen. Get Out only happened because of the social commentary. And then fucking look what happened. The Substance got in. And then when it was time for Sinners, it was like, no, Sinners can never happen. So it's not like the Substance. Substance had social commentary. Every time. Maria Bakalova, that she can never happen. And then she happens, and then it's like, oh, it's because of COVID, and because Borat 1 was nominated for screenplay. Mad Max Fury Road, Black Panther, like, every single time, it's got to be the most concrete logic to something you said was impossible. I guarantee you have my God's honest word that if Obsession were to be nominated for Best Picture, which I'm going to argue is very likely, this time next year, when it's the next horror movie's turn to be a contender, y'all are going to be like, no, this is nothing like Obsession. Obsession was like, it was this big phenomenon. And y'all are going to suddenly say it had social commentary. And I don't even think it has social commentary. I think, like, there's social elements, but I also think the conceit of this movie is to take a gigantic pussy and, you know, reveal something really rotten. And it does reveal social elements, but that's not the intention. I've heard a lot of, like, things about this movie that why it can't be this because it's nothing like this. And, like, I don't know, sometimes it just happens. And you can't compare it to something else. What this movie is doing cannot be compared to anything. It's going to beat Sinners at the box office more likely. And the only legit case against it, because I'm over the genre thing, like they like horror now. Sorry, they do. Oh, but Sinners had social commentary. Okay, 16 nominations. The only 2 cases against it that I think are legit are that its nom haul is pretty weak, which I would agree, and it's, like, viewership base is like mostly young, which isn't untrue, but I would also argue that it cannot pull off what it's been doing with just young people. Like, I don't know, you got Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola, like, very openly, like, vouching for this movie. It's not just the young folk. I mean, it's mostly them, but, like, it's definitely enough to pull this at a number 8 slot. And like I said, Indy Never Ready, like, she's not going anywhere. Critics gonna, like, really boost her. And then, like, Globes, Critics' Choice, SAG at minimum are, like, more likely than not gonna just give her the nomination, maybe even the win. And then you can easily throw a screenplay in there in the process. And then what if Obsession becomes, like, a guaranteed in picture? I think you can start playing around with some crumbs. I'm talking casting, I'm talking editing, I'm talking sound, I'm talking score. I don't find them likely, but you can definitely start playing around with them. I don't know if Curry would get director. That feels like a stretch. And, like, I don't know. Like, I get that, like, Challengers and Weapons didn't get in, but Obsession has eclipsed these movies. And also, like, with Weapons, an Oscar winner, mind you, I don't know. Weapons was, like, number 3 at best for Warner Brothers last year. Focus doesn't have much this year. The only two that people can argue are Sense and Sensibility and Werewolf. I'll get into them. Sense and Sensibility, no. Just no. But Werewolf, like, I don't know. There's no universe where it's going to be as big as this. And then also, like, I don't know. If it is great and it is an Oscar thing, I don't see why Focus would shift gears to that when it has arguably similar obstacles to Obsession. So I don't know. I just think Obsession, it just has the juice. Am I going to go nuts on this? Maybe not yet, but I think we got something with Obsession. My baby boy has grown up to become an Oscar nominee. Let's get him in there. Let's get Indy her Oscar win. She earned it. That's my take. I think Obsession's looking real good. Another Cannes movie is All of a Sudden. Ryosuke Hamaguchi, previous nominee, Drive My Car. Not that much of a leap to get voters to watch this. It's over 3 hours. That's not great for a voter's, attention span. But I'm hearing this movie is like a very life-affirming movie, and that's always a plus. It just seems to me like outside the Black Ball, the movie out of Cannes. I'll talk about Fjord in a minute, but like clearly this has more acclaim than Fjord. Like clearly. And we're talking about a previous nominee here, so in Ryosuke Hamaguchi. So I don't know. There's some I don't see that much of a stretch to keep this movie in. It feels like Neon could very easily mount a campaign around this. I think critics are going to go harder for this than Fjord. So I'm going All of a Sudden, and then my wild card is another Neon pick, and that's A Place in Hell. I'm still vouching for A Place in Hell just because I really think that Michelle Williams, Stacey Edgar-Jones, and Chloe Damont's writing could really, really make an impact. I think there's going to be a really big Fall Fest title. I think it's got like this very I don't know, Fair Play wasn't necessarily close, but now you got Michelle Williams in there and Andrew Scott, and I think that its vibe and its subject matter and its genre movies always stick out on a crowd. That's always my feel, and that's why I'm always going out for the genre films. And I think A Place in Hell is just grounded enough. I mean, it probably is grounded completely, but like a much more heightened thriller tone. It's there enough that I really just can't really see this movie like flatlining entirely, because I think Williams and Daisy Edgar-Jones make too much sense. But it's such a wild card. Like, I don't know. I always make a wild card every year, and it doesn't always land. But I'm sticking with it. And if I look like dumb fucking bozo, then so be it. It's also coming out on Christmas, so that helps. Just outside the top 10, we got a couple more movies that I'm like really heavily considering, but 10 slots. One of them is The Debut, which I read an article that seemed to confirm that was the title of the new Jesse Eisenberg movie, not No One Cares. We got Julianne Moore, we got Paul Giamatti in a role that feels like he could get a win for. I believe in this movie a lot. 10 slots. But, you got Paul Giamatti playing the curmudgeonly, kind of harsh theater director. I heard it's not like a musical, but it's got that element there. Kind of like A Real Pain. I think it just seems like a very smart and really well thought out comedy drama. And Eisenberg, his filmmaking, he's directed an actor to a win already. And he's been nominated for writing already. He himself is a nominee for acting. So I feel fine. with considering the debut until, the Fall Fest, maybe tell me, maybe not. Maybe I'll watch the movie and be like, maybe it'll just miss. But there's something there for the debut, and I'm willing to consider it. The Invite is a movie that really shot up in my estimations as of this morning. I don't know, everyone just really loves this movie, and the more I read into it, I know everyone's considering screenplay. I think everyone's considering Norton and Penelope Cruz, because they're like the ones, like the prestige actors. But I'm kind of like, why not all four? Get all four actors in there, get its writing in there. Maybe get like an editing tech. The trailer looks very stylish. Who knows what else that we can do with this? I think The Invite, if A24 plays their cards right with this, I think there's something there. I see it next week, so I can't say for sure. Maybe I'll watch it and go, never mind. But I know people who saw it who were like, whoa, why aren't we considering this more? So The Invite, like I am very interested to see if this one goes. Now Fjord won the Palme d'Or, and I don't have it in picture. Look, last year after It Was Just an Accident won, I said to myself, hey, we weren't even close to predicting this until it won the Palme. And look what happened. The difference, It Was Just an Accident, is critically acclaimed. It Was Just an Accident is still one of the most beloved movies of last year. It just kind of got fucked over for some reason. Fjord has a little bit more going for it. You got these two out. You got Sebastian Stan. You got Renata Reinsve. There's something there. It will get more eyes attached to it. But, like, if you haven't seen a Christian Mungiu film, I would say maybe know what you're getting into. Because I saw people predicting this before the festival, and then it was seen, and everyone I know who saw it took it out of picture. And is that not revealing as hell? And then they put it back in when they won the Palme d'Or, but I don't know, the movie that y'all didn't think was winning the Palme is the same movie. It reached an apex when I was talking to some friends who saw it, and they said that, like, Stan and Reinsve are by no means a lock. And that really was all I needed to hear to say, I'm okay keeping Fjord out. The reviews are great, but not amazing. I don't think critics are going to go that ham for it. And, like, Mungiu's movies are very isolating and cold and dark. I love his movies. If you haven't seen RMN, if you haven't seen Graduation, I recommend it. And it seems very challenging in a way that I think could get some conversations going. But I don't know. Something about this movie is just really not grabbing me. And I'm excited to see it. Again, Mungiu is great. But, I'm still not there. Like, my feelings before of trepidation are very much still there. Saturn Return, Greg Quitter, him and Bentley are on a roll. I really think that there's something here, but, it's like a more of a grounded romance. But then again, I could have said that about Train Dreams. Not a grounded romance, but, like, I don't know. It's probably going to go to TIFF. We're probably going to find out pretty soonish about what exactly we're dealing with. But until then, I think it's got to be considered. Bentley and Quitter are, like, not Oscar darlings, but definitely on the map. And it's a Netflix movie, too, so that's something. And then Fatherland. I'm not completely done with this. The reviews are very good, and it's probably going to get cinematography, going to get international feature. So, I don't know, maybe it climbs a wall, and I think the only thing that's really stopping me from putting it back in is that I don't think critic groups are going to go that hard for it. I think all of a sudden is their international pick, as is the Black Ball. But, Mubi has it, and they're going to mount a campaign for it. So I am going to say it's not over yet. This is, again, like Hamaguchi, Paul Pawlikowski isn't just some guy. He is he was nominated for director when his movie wasn't in picture. I mean, Cold War is a directing nominee. So I'm not done with it, but it's not looking great. Everything else, I have my eye on, but I'm not, really, considering it. Okay, I'm considering it, but I'm not, so, strongly, close to putting it in. Adventures of Cliff Booth, I was pretty dismissive of, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that, below the line and, in screenplay, it's really strong. But now Netflix has a Black Ball, so, I don't know. This kind of noir, almost epilogue to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm not that convinced. I am kind of wondering about Elizabeth Debicki, just a little bit, but I'm wondering if I just kind of want her to be nominated. Club Kid was really big out of Cannes. It does seem like a, I know I said this about Obsession, but a young person movie, or I should say I defended Obsession against it. Club Kid's a Jordan Firstman debut film. It's not really screaming to me as something that could be a best picture thing, but it's got really good reviews, and some people who've seen it are willing to take it seriously. So am I. Disclosure Day, You got Daddy Spielberg directing it. You kind of have to wonder, and it's got great reviews, but it's not really vibing with audiences. It would get in off of the strength of Spielberg as a person, as a filmmaker, and I question whether or not it's actually going to do it, especially with kind of mixed audience reception. So, I'm not really taking that seriously. Social Reckoning, we have a trailer for it, and it looks like dog shit. Maybe I should put it higher, since it's going to have, the acting, it's going to have the possibility for screenplay. I think Strong and Madison seem pretty, I don't see likely, but, they seem like strong possibilities. But, it is kind of giving itself away a little bit in comparing itself too much to The Social Network, which it's just not going to live up to. Just visually, it looks like such an obvious step down. So I can't really, in good faith, put The Social Reckoning that close to Best Picture, even though it's clearly something we might have to grapple with if it gets even good reviews. Tony, man, I was really hyping for this movie, but that August release date, it might be dumped, unfortunately, even though it looks great, and Matt Johnson is a terrific filmmaker, and you got something with an Anthony Bourdain biopic, but, man, that August release date's tough. Jack of Spades, the new Joel Coen movie, it's the genre that's really pulling me away. I don't know what Joel's doing on his own. Trash Macbeth felt so insulated. It's a very Joel Coen, not showing what he really is as a director, but more him doing a very art house Shakespeare adaptation, which, I don't know, I don't really know if I can very obviously attribute that to his entire sensibility, and what Jack of Spades is going to be. But, text and maybe some acting with Josh O'Connor and maybe Frances McDormand or Leslie Manville. It's a Joel Coen movie. You have to consider it at least a little bit. You got Primetime, the Lance Oppenheim, Chris Hansen biopic with Robert Pattinson. I'm really taking Robert Pattinson seriously. I have him in, as I really want him nominated. But the trailer didn't give me much. It did kind of give the vibe of like a really grimy thriller, almost akin to Nightcrawler. And that doesn't exactly, and I don't know, Chris Hansen, I think that lends well to a performance, but I don't know if he lends well to an Oscar movie, that kind of subject. But I don't know, I could be wrong. Possible Love, man, I really want to say yes to this, but Lee Chang-dong, I'm rooting for Lee Chang-dong here because I like that guy. I like him. But apparently if you're a South Korean movie, you gotta be the best movie fucking ever. But I don't know, this one is definitely a lot more of a grounded romance than, No Other Choice is a big thriller. So, I'm a comedy thriller. So, I'm willing to take this a level of serious. I mean, I kind of have to. It's probably going to go to Venice. Netflix has it. But they also have the Black Ball. We're going to get 2 international movies from Netflix. I mean, Neon did it last year. Why can't Netflix? We got Werewolf, which I said I'd talk about. I'm going to be brief. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking this is going to be smaller than Nosferatu. I'm really seeing what about this is going to be Robert Eggers' ticket to the Oscars. I think in Christmas Carol, a lot more of a character story is going to be the one for Eggers. This one, I'm thinking it might get less than Nosferatu. I'm thinking makeup probably, costumes maybe, cinematography maybe. I don't know. I'm not really swayed to go all in on Werewolf, especially now that Focus has their biggest movie ever in Obsession, which is also a horror film. Minotaur got a lot of really good publicity out of Cannes. Directed by Andre, last name I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna. If I try, I'm gonna look really bad. And he's Leviathan, Loveless is nominated. Minotaur is really well received. It's dealing with Ukraine. Apparently, Russia had nothing to do with this movie, so he actually can be submitted for international feature. That's a mistake on my end that I made in the last prediction video. And is there a world where this starts to manifest and become a screenplay contender, and maybe a director thing? I don't know. I want to hold off on that, but hey, it's apparently great, so something to think about. Being Human, the next film from Sean Heder, who did Coda. This one is gonna have a cast of mostly able people, and it's probably going to have that very heartwarming feel, but I get the vibe that a Coda wouldn't go well today, in this era of the Academy. I think Coda was a little bit of good timing. That one was super, sappy, very easy to root for movie, whereas I think the honest is being a little more challenged nowadays. I know F1 got in, but that one felt a little bigger. But who knows? I could be vastly misjudging this movie, and I'm basing this off of one movie. I haven't seen Sean Heder's anything other than Coda. But I'm not vibing with it right now, so we'll see. The End of Oak Street, I'm keeping in the conversation just because I think it's going to be really big. And I think a visual effects contender that people are misjudging. Now, I don't really see much reason to think it's going to be a Best Picture player, but if it becomes a big deal, I want to talk about it. You know, if we're talking about Obsession for being a big contender, like a big summer movie, then why not End of Oak Street? I mean, granted, End of Oak Street's not going to bitch slap a Star Wars movie on its opening weekend, but like maybe it doesn't. Not every movie has to. We got Josephine, which I don't know, just that distributor is just not doing anything for me, and its Hall seems very limited to its actors. So I don't know. Subject aside, I'm not really seeing much. Mimesis, Catherine Benhania. I'm really excited for this movie. She directed Four Daughters and the voice of Hind Rajab, and I loved those movies. So I'm excited. I don't know what this movie is. I don't know if it's like a docufiction. So I can't really push it into picture, but something to look out for. Like the only other international movie outside of Possible Love that didn't go to Cannes that is worth considering. There's another one, but I'll get to that. Rose went to Berlin. Sandra Hüller. I think that's really mostly a Sandra Hüller player. She plays like a Mulan type of deal where she's like a woman, but she pretends to be a man to enlist. So I haven't heard much about the movie outside of her, so I'm not that compelled to the movie, but I'm predicting her, so I'll consider the movie. Sense and Sensibility. Okay, I'm seeing some people go with this movie, and every time I see it, what I think is you are only predicting it to put a Focus Features movie. But now you have Obsession, and there's no plan. I think this movie's going to make money, but there's no planet that's going to, I'm not saying it has to reach the highs of Obsession, that's borderline impossible. But Sense and Sensibility, it's in a losing situation. It's going to be compared to what is a definitive version, the 90s movie with Emma Thompson. No, it's Emma Roberts. That comparison is likely not to go well. And Georgia Oakley, I heard her movies, actually her movie Blue Jean is very good. I'll watch it. But, I don't know, I don't really see much compelling me to this movie. Are we really doing a Jane Austen adaptation in 2026? I'm not really, nothing's really pulling me to do that. I don't know, I'll consider it for costumes. I Play Rocky, the Peter Farrelly Stallone biopic, which I heard is, I heard from Tess that it went well, but I don't know. Go to TIFF, it'll probably get middling reviews. We'll be over it by October. Wildwood, it's animated. Trailer is fantastic. We're all blown away by the animation. But it's animated. I can't do much with it. Long Winter, Andrew High's new movie. I'm excited. I'm interested. I think Andrew High is due an Oscar moment. I'm just not reading much into why this is the one. But, if it's great, I'm willing to consider it. I don't think it's going to be quite as challenging as All of Us Strangers, but I could be wrong. I have nothing to base that off of. Prima Facie, again, I think that's more of an Arrivo pull than anything. I don't know, the writer did the play, but the director did TV, and usually that doesn't translate. Look Back, the new Corrieta movie, one of two he got this year. One of was Sheep of the Mox, which didn't go so well at Cannes. This one's based on a manga, though. It's probably going to be a little over an hour long. Excited, but not much I can really... No, I'm not really justified enough to predict this. Maybe an international feature, though. Misty Green's got a good concept about an actress. It's got a good cast, Adam Driver and Diana Kaluuya. It's directed by Chris Rock, though, and I'm are we really doing a Chris Rock movie in 2026? I mean, I know I'm predicting a YouTuber-directed movie, but I don't know, man. Chris Rock directing it. It's nothing's really pulling me. Bucking Faster, the new Werner Herzog movie. Werner Herzog does not make Oscar movies. And maybe there's, something new here. You got the Morrow Sisters. I don't see much reason that this is going to be it. Although maybe Herzog is overdue. Bunker, fuck off. Tender Loving Care, the new Mike Lee movie. Maybe I'm just too PTSD from Hard Truths getting shafted for even actress that I don't have much reason. And who knows if it's even coming out this year. The Uprising coming out, in the middle of the Fall Fest. I'm not doing it. And it's Paul Greengrass. I'm over it. Claire and the Sun, Taika Waititi's new movie. I just think people have their knives out for Waititi in a way that maybe feels unfair. Maybe now that he's off of his perch, he can kind of ground himself. Who knows? But this doesn't, a robot played by Jenna Ortega. I don't know, this is the one. And then Michael, if you really want to think that like all the audience love, which by the way is pretty unanimous, but also definitely not strong enough to last a whole year. I feel like the movie's already kind of fading out. Good, because it's a terrible movie. I don't know. I think the bad reception is outweighing the, whatever is good. Maybe that's not true, but I think the perception is just too negative for this to be a Best Picture nominee. I think makeup, and that's it. All right, that's what I got for Best Picture. It felt rushed because, again, I did this on the seat of my pants. I didn't mention this. I am removing Cry to Heaven completely. The Variety released their Venice preview thing, and they're typically, like, I'm not saying they're like 100%, but usually when they say this isn't going, they're pretty correct. And they said Cry to Heaven was skipping, and that kind of tells me it's not ready, and it's probably going to be next year, and doesn't even have a distributor yet. So if you're skipping the fest without a distributor, like, not much I can really consider there. So I'm saying Cry to Heaven is next year. We're done here. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll do more fucking prediction videos in the, like, from now till like mid-July, and then once the artist comes out, I'm gonna do another batch before the festivals come out. I'm in the fucking grits here. Bye.